Hi guys, it's Rob here with another database design tutorial. And when we left off in the last video, we were talking about benefits of a database management system. Well, what are some of the benefits? Security, right? And now what do we mean by this? Well, we can define, right, who can access what, right? So who can access what at a very detailed level. So we have control over not only who accesses the information, but what specific information they access. Okay, so this is one benefit. Another benefit, integrity. We can define specific integrity constraints on attribute values. And I'll get to that in just a minute. Let me just write out the definition for you guys here. We can define integrity constraints, right, on attribute values. Right? So we have these constraints here. And 3, we have performance. Since we're using ad hoc queries, we're no longer waiting, right? So these are the benefits. So remember, integrity just means that we could define constraints on attribute values. So we might say that an attribute has to be a varchar. That means it can't be a date time type, all these different types. We could define certain constraints, okay, to constrain the data to what we want, which means that if we have a column where we want, let's say an integer, we could define that with an integer specific, I'm not sure what the syntax is, but an integer specific constraint on that. And now the last concept I want to cover here is Microsoft Access. As you all know, it's a software product. And specifically, Microsoft Access is a low-end product intended for individual users and small work groups. Right? So if you're a large corporation, you might not use Access. That's basically the gist here. Okay. Oops. Moving on. Now we're going to talk a little bit about file processing systems, right? So file processing systems. Right? FPS for short. Okay? And what I want to point out here, Excel, okay, is not a database system. Now, you might get confused because, Excel has those spreadsheets, you work with spreadsheets in Excel, but again, Excel is not a database system. So there's a distinction to be made there. Right? So now, for a flat file database system, there are positives and there are negatives. Now remember, flat file means we're dealing with, again, one table, right? So we have positives and negatives here. Well, they're easy to generate, easy to maintain. And it actually looks like we're running out of time. We're running towards that 5-minute mark. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll pick up where I left off in the next tutorial.